Have you noticed your legs feeling weaker than they used to be, even though you're not doing anything differently? That's exactly the problem. You might be doing less than you think, and that's part of what's slowly draining the strength from your legs. It's not always about big injuries or sudden accidents. Sometimes it's the quiet, daily habits we hardly notice, the ones that seem harmless, that do the most damage over time. And if you're over 60, your legs aren't just your legs anymore. They're your independence. They're your freedom to go to the store, walk to the garden, visit family, even get up from your favorite chair. So today, we need to talk about the subtle routines that are quietly robbing you of that strength. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at the common everyday habits that weaken your legs after 60, and more importantly, what you can do to stop the damage and rebuild your strength. Because no matter your age, it's never too late to make a change. Let's start with one that catches almost everyone off guard: sitting for too long. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm retired. I earned the right to sit down and relax. And yes, absolutely, relaxation is essential. But here's the hidden problem. The human body was designed to move, not sit still for hours on end. And when we spend long stretches sitting, especially in soft, cozy chairs, our leg muscles quietly shrink and weaken. It happens slowly, so you barely notice. Maybe you feel a little stiffer getting up in the morning. Maybe it's a bit harder climbing stairs, or your balance feels off. That's not just aging, that's muscle loss. Specifically, in your quads, hamstrings, and glutes, the big power muscles that help you stand, walk, and stabilize yourself. The worst part? It only takes a couple of hours of sitting each day, without breaks, to start this cycle. And if we're watching TV, reading, scrolling on our phones, or even doing puzzles, it adds up fast. But the good news is, it's fixable. You don't need to run a marathon. Just stand up every 30 to 45 minutes. Walk to the kitchen. Do a few light stretches. March in place. These small movements send signals to your muscles, saying, hey, stay active, stay awake, stay strong. Your muscles listen to what you do, not just what you wish for. Now let's talk about another sneaky habit that weakens your legs: skipping meals, especially protein. A lot of older adults eat less as they age, sometimes because of appetite changes, dental issues, or just being too tired to cook. But here's the thing, your muscles don't care how convenient it is. They need fuel, and not just calories, but quality protein to repair and grow. You see, after 60, your body becomes less efficient at using the protein you eat to maintain muscle. That means you actually need more, not less. But many seniors end up grazing on toast, crackers, or tea, comfort foods that are easy to digest but don't support muscle health. What happens next? Your legs don't get the nutrients they need, and the slow decline begins. You may start to feel shaky. Your legs may get tired quicker than before, or you might notice you don't recover as fast after a walk or a busy day. So if you're serious about keeping your legs strong, you've got to make friends with protein. That could mean eggs at breakfast, a bit of chicken or fish at lunch, maybe Greek yogurt or a smoothie in the afternoon. It doesn't have to be fancy, just consistent. And while we're at it, don't skip breakfast. That's often the only real opportunity to get ahead of the muscle loss curve for the day. Think of it like this: breakfast is your body's green light. Without it, your muscles stay in park all day. Now, let's move into something that sounds minor, but is surprisingly powerful: relying too much on assistance. Let me explain. Walkers, canes, lift chairs, grab bars. These tools are amazing when they're needed. They can protect you from dangerous falls, help you recover from surgery, and give you the freedom to move around safely. But here's the catch. If you start relying on them too soon, before they're truly necessary, they can do the opposite of what you want. Why? Because they take the work away from your legs. Every time you sit in a lift chair, your legs get a break. Every time you lean on a walker instead of standing tall, your muscles relax and eventually weaken. Now, I'm not saying toss the tools. I'm saying don't let convenience replace capability. If you can stand without help, do it. If you can push off a chair with your own strength, practice it. Use your strength while you have it. That's how you keep it. And if you're not sure whether you're relying too much on assistance, here's a quick test. Can you get up from a regular height chair without using your hands? If not, that's a red flag. Not a reason to panic, but definitely a sign to start working those muscles again. Strength is one of those things we don't miss until it's gone. But the good news is it doesn't have to be. Even in your 70s, 80s, or 90s, you can build muscle. you can improve your balance, and you can absolutely protect your independence, starting with your legs. Now that you're starting to see how small, everyday choices quietly chip away at your leg strength. Let's keep going, because there are more habits that slip under the radar. And one of the biggest culprits? Skipping intentional movement. I'm not talking about walking from the bedroom to the kitchen or getting the mail. That's just life. I mean actual deliberate movement, where you choose to use your muscles, not just because you have to, but because it keeps you strong. The problem is, a lot of people assume daily life is enough exercise. Oh, I clean the house, I run errands, I'm on my feet plenty. But here's the hard truth. Regular daily activities aren't always enough to build or even maintain muscle strength, especially after 60. That's because your body is no longer getting the same muscle-building boost from casual movement like it used to. You need to send a louder message to your muscles. You gotta say, hey, don't go anywhere. I still need you. That could be 10 squats at the kitchen counter, a few heel raises while brushing your teeth, marching in place during a commercial break. The point is, you've got to wake up those muscles regularly. Give them a reason to stick around. Otherwise, your legs start to shrink, quite literally. The muscle fibers shrink, the joints stiffen, the tendons tighten. Before long, walking feels harder, stairs seem taller, and you don't even realize how much strength you've lost until you really need it. Now here's another sneaky habit that weakens your legs over time: wearing the wrong shoes. Yes, shoes. Something as simple as your choice of footwear can either support your leg health or silently sabotage it. Too many older adults wear slippers around the house all day. They're comfy, soft, easy to slide on, but they usually lack support. And when your shoes don't support your feet, your whole leg chain, from ankles to knees to hips, takes the hit. Your posture shifts, your gait changes, and over time, your leg muscles stop working the way they should. Not to mention the increased risk of tripping and falling. And let's be honest, the wrong fall can change everything. Even worse, some shoes actually prevent proper muscle use. Those thick cushioned soles that feel like walking on clouds, they may feel good, but they reduce feedback from your feet to your brain. That weakens your sense of balance and coordination. And yes, your legs too. So what should you wear? Something supportive, stable, and snug, not too tight, not too loose. Your shoes should keep you grounded and aligned, so your muscles engage naturally when you walk. Think of them as partner for your legs, not pillows. Speaking of movement and stability, let's talk about something most people never associate with leg strength: water. Yes, dehydration. It sounds like a small thing, right? But it's a major player when it comes to muscle health. When your body doesn't get enough fluids, your muscles don't function properly. They cramp, they fatigue faster, they recover slower, and over time, they weaken. Now here's the catch. The older we get, the less we feel thirsty, even when we really need water. So by the time you're actually thirsty, you may already be running low. And that affects everything: your energy, your coordination, even how steady you feel on your feet. A lot of seniors avoid drinking water because of bladder issues, or they just don't want to make frequent trips to the bathroom. Totally understandable. But here's the problem. Avoiding water to avoid the bathroom is like skipping meals to avoid dirty dishes. You're causing a bigger issue in the long run. Instead, try sipping water steadily throughout the day. Keep a glass nearby. Flavor with a splash of lemon or a few berries if plain water isn't appealing. And remember, hydration is strength. Muscles are made up of water. Joints are cushioned by it. Even your brain and nerves rely on it to send proper signals to your legs. If you feel unsteady, weak, or sluggish in your legs, one of the first things you should ask yourself is, have I had enough water today? And here's one more habit that's probably going to sound familiar, but it needs to be said: ignoring pain or stiffness and brushing it off as just aging. That mindset right there can steal your strength quicker than anything else. When you feel a little ache in your knee or a twinge in your hip and you say, oh, well, I guess that's just how it is now, you're letting that discomfort become your new normal. And that's dangerous, because pain changes how you move. It changes how you walk, how you sit, how you stand. And over time, that altered movement leads to weaker muscles, imbalances, and more pain. It becomes a cycle, and not a good one. But here's the truth: aging doesn't have to hurt. Yes, wear and tear happen, but you can strengthen your legs, loosen your joints, and improve your mobility at any age If you stop accepting pain as part of the deal, instead of ignoring it, listen to it. Your body's trying to tell you something. Maybe you need to stretch more. Maybe your posture needs work. Maybe you're overcompensating with one leg. These are things you can address and improve. You don't have to settle. You deserve to feel steady, strong, and confident when you move. You deserve to walk into the world, not shuffle around it. And that's why this conversation matters. Because these little habits, they add up, but so do little improvements. Now, let's look at another habit that might be hiding in plain sight. And I'll be honest, it's a tough one for many people to admit. Doing everything for others, but not doing enough for yourself. I see this a lot with people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, especially caregivers and loving grandparents. You're always putting someone else's needs first. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe your grandkids, maybe a neighbor or friend. And while that's admirable, truly, the problem is you end up last on your own list. You push through fatigue. You skip rest. You put off your own wellness because someone else's issue feels more urgent. But here's what happens. Your body starts falling behind. Quietly, slowly, until one day, you try to do something that used to be easy, getting out a low chair, climbing steps, bending down to pick something up, and suddenly it's not, because your legs haven't been getting the attention they need. Your energy's been going out, but not coming back in. It's like watering everyone else's garden while your own starts to wither. And I get it. It can feel selfish to say, I need 20 minutes for myself, but that 20 minutes could be the difference between independence and dependence, between walking freely and needing help, between feeling strong and feeling stuck. So let this be your reminder. It's not selfish to care for yourself. It's survival. Your strength doesn't just benefit you. It benefits everyone who depends on you. And it starts with saying, my health matters too. Now, speaking of self-care, here's a habit that often flies under the radar, but absolutely affects your leg health: poor sleep. We tend to think of sleep as a brain thing, for memory, mood, energy. But did you know that most of your muscle recovery and repair happens while you're sleeping? If your sleep is shallow, short, or broken, your body doesn't have time to fully recharge. That includes your legs. When you don't sleep well, inflammation builds up. Muscle tissues don't get the repair they need, and your coordination suffers the next day, which increases your fall risk. Over time, lack of good sleep slowly chips away at your physical resilience. And look, I know that sleep after 60 can be a challenge. Maybe your mind is racing or your body wakes you up with aches. Maybe you fall asleep okay, but wake up at 3 a.m. like clockwork. But that doesn't mean you're stuck with bad sleep forever. Try creating a bedtime routine that's actually relaxing, not just watching TV until you nod off. Dim the lights, listen to calming music, try gentle stretches before bed, and stay off the caffeine after lunch, no matter how tempting that 4 p.m. coffee might be. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's part of your muscle care plan. Your legs need that recovery time, just like athletes do. You may not be running marathons, but you're moving through life, and that takes strength. Now here's one more habit that needs to be called out: ignoring balance training. Most people assume that if you want strong legs, you need to build muscle. And yes, that's true, but strength is only half the equation. The other half? Control. And that comes from balance. Balance keeps you upright when you trip on a rug. Balance helps you turn around without wobbling. Balance gives your legs a sense of confidence and coordination that prevents injuries before they even happen. But if you're not challenging your balance regularly, even in small ways, your body forgets how to stay steady. And that's when falls happen. Not because you're clumsy, but because your body wasn't trained to recover quickly enough. The good news is you don't need fancy equipment. You can work on your balance just by standing on one foot while brushing your teeth, or walking heel to toe in a straight line down the hallway. Even standing up and sitting down without using your hands builds control. And here's a little trick. Try turning your head side to side while you walk. It forces your body to stabilize from the hips down, making your leg muscles fire up in a totally different way. That's functional strength, the kind that actually helps you in real life. Because the truth is, strong legs aren't just about lifting heavy things. They're about feeling stable when you carry groceries, confident when you get out of the car, safe when you're walking down the stairs with a bag in each hand. It's about freedom and peace of mind and keeping your body under your control. You didn't come this far to lose your independence to a set of habits that no one warned you about. That's why we're having this conversation now, while you can still take action, while your legs are still listening. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to become a gym rat or give up everything you enjoy. But you do need to become more aware, more intentional, because your legs, they're your foundation. And the foundation needs maintenance, not excuses. At this point, you're probably realizing just how many of these everyday habits sneak into your routine without you even noticing. And that's exactly why they're so dangerous, because they feel so normal. But when something feels normal for too long, it becomes a new standard, even if that standard is slowly wearing you down. So let's talk about what to do with everything we've covered. Because this video isn't about scaring you. It's about waking you up before your body forces you to. You don't have to accept weakness as your new normal. You don't have to sit back and watch your legs get stiffer, shakier, or more tired. You have the power to reverse these trends. That's not hype, that's biology. And science backs it up. Even if you've been sedentary for years, even if you had a fall before, even if you're in your 70s, 80s, or beyond, your muscles are still listening. They're still capable of change, and they're just waiting for you to tell them, let's go. So what does that look like in real life? It looks like standing up more often instead of sinking into the recliner for hours. It looks like saying yes to a short walk, even if it's just around the living room. It looks like adding an extra egg to breakfast or a handful of nuts with your afternoon tea. It looks like taking those stairs slowly, but taking them. It looks like stretching your calves while you brush your teeth or standing on one foot while the kettle boils. It looks like putting yourself back on your priority list, not someday, but today. And if you ever feel discouraged, if you catch yourself thinking, what's the point at my age? Remember this, strength at 60, 70, or 90 isn't about looking like a fitness model. It's about living your life with less pain and more freedom. It's about walking across the yard without gripping a railing. It's about picking up your grandchild without fearing you'll lose your balance. It's about getting out of a chair without struggling or calling someone for help. It's about showing up for the moments that matter and knowing your body can carry you through them. That's why this matters. That's why every little change you make adds up. You're not trying to become someone new. You're trying to protect who you already are. Someone capable, someone wise, someone with a life worth living fully, not cautiously. So here's what I'd love for you to do now. Pick just one habit we talked about today, one that resonated with you the most. Maybe it was sitting too long, or maybe you've been skipping meals. Maybe you realize your shoes aren't doing you any favors. Whatever it is, start there. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for motivation. Just start, quietly, gently, but consistently, and let your body catch up to the life you want to live. If this message hit home, take a second to share your thoughts in the comments below. What changes are you ready to make? What's been your biggest challenge? I read every single one, and you'd be surprised how many others are feeling exactly what you're feeling. You're not alone. And if you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps get this information to more people who need it, maybe even someone you love. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because we're just getting started on this journey towards strength, wellness, and independence. And remember this, above all else, you are not too old. It is not too late. And small steps, taken daily, are how we rebuild strength, reclaim energy, and rediscover confidence. Here's to strong legs, a strong spirit, and a life that keeps moving forward one steady step at a time.